Hey, good morning or afternoon, everyone. This is Mark Hamlin here, and today we're going to go over one of our newer solutions, which is the Safety Logbook. So the Safety Logbook is a free application. It's available for Business Central Cloud only. If you have one of our existing products, if you're on-prem, you can get the Safety Logbook as well, but it is not available sort of standalone for free for your on-prem implementation. Now, what does it do? It's a simple tool, as it says there, to record any health, safety, environment events, really anything you want to do, including things like certifications and when they expire, all that kind of stuff. So really, it's a tool that your safety personnel can use to go in there and just record what's happening from a safety perspective in the facility and attach documents and all those sorts of things. So it can keep that historical record. So I could say, hey, how many times has Joe been involved in a safety incident? Or, when does Joe's certifications expire? Those sorts of things. You can do that from within the safety logbook. And really what it's doing is, most of this stuff is typically handled if you don't have a formal HRMS or something that you've bought. You're using paper-based sheets or Excel and things like that to track what's going on in your environment. Well, Safety Logbook is built into Business Central and just eliminates that. So it just makes your life a little bit easier. Nice, simple tool for you to use. Now, I mentioned Quality Inspector earlier as well. So Quality Inspector is a paid product, but you can use it with the Safety Logbook to create those detailed checklists or inspections or things like that. So if there's a work practice review or any of those sorts of things or an audit that you want to have a more formal record of individual things that you've done without doing it on paper and then attaching it into Business Central, you can use the Quality Inspector. All right. You can also, if you have the Quality Inspector, you can technically do almost everything that the Safety Logbook does within the Quality Inspector. The Safety Logbook just simplifies it, more specifically for the HSE events. So we'll maybe look at both of those as we jump into the demo. So let's have a look at that demo real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into Business Central here, and I'm just in the, one of the production role centers here, and I've got my safety logs pinned up here. And if we open that up, there's some basic setup you do with the safety logbook, and the basic setup is just specifying your log types here. As you can see this list, we've got some lost time injuries, some training, things like that. There's a number of default ones that come in, but you can customize those as much as you like. And the nice thing about this view, I've got a few in here already. You can scroll over and there's all sorts of information you can track. We'll look at this when we create a new one in a moment, but we can see how much lost time was associated with those events. We can look at, the expiration of that event. So if we have something like a certification here, I can see when that certification expires, so end of this year, right? So you could have views that say, hey, show me all the certifications that are expiring this year or whatever it is, and I can open that up. It happens to be forklift and see whose certification is going to expire. So we'll see how we do that when we create the logs. But you've got all of this kind of detail. And the nice thing about it is when you combine that with the Business Central analysis mode, you can do a lot of simple reporting, right? So I've got in here by log type, so I can see how many lost time injuries we've had. And of course, you can filter this down by date range or whatever, the certifications and when they're expiring and all of those sorts of things, and sum up the lost time and all that kind of stuff associated with these events that have occurred, right? So this analysis view is really nice. We can do a lot of reporting right in here without having to create some other kind of dashboard or anything else. Okay. Now, let's talk about more specifically, what kind of data we can capture in the safety logbook. So I'll open up one of these existing ones here just to have a quick peek. And when we create a new safety logbook, you provided a basic description, and then you can come in here and specify, the type of log that you want to make. So again, we're really just logging an event that occurred. It could be a spill, or it could be a certification, or meetings. Like if you want to log your weekly safety meetings in here, this is a great place to do it. If you ever get audited, by a government agency or parent company or wherever that happens to be, you can go in there and say, yes, I've got records of every safety meeting that was attended and list the employees that attended it. Anyway, this particular one is flagged as a lost time injury. We indicated when it happened, how long that event took to work its way through, what we expected for lost time, and what we actually lost for lost time. So this actual lost time, you may fill that in after the fact. You'll say, this person's going to be out for a couple hours to go to the doctor, or they just need to take a break or whatever. And then after the fact, you could say, actually, they were gone for a week because it was more severe than we expected or whatever it is. And then these are all sort of standard, HSE type criteria that you would log. So, the potential severity could it have been really bad? Yes, it could have been really bad, but it actually wasn't that bad. And it's probably never going to happen again, or there's a low probability of it actually, happening again. And then the priority code from, say basically 0 to 3 to indicate, how important is that risk on a scale of 1 to 3 or 0 to 3. Now down here, we'd enter the employees. So you can enter as many employees as you like here that were involved in this particular log and indicate what their role in that particular event was. So you can come in here and add multiple employees. And this is just looking up to the employee list within Business Central. So I can come in here, add whatever employees were involved in this particular event, and away I go, and record additional comments if I like here on this, or just use the notes capability within Business Central to include long form notes or other things there. Okay, and then we can record injury information and any actions required for this particular log. So we've got some follow-up training that's required for this. We have addressed the root cause, but we're going to do some training, and we've got a review date. And then down at the bottom, I'll get to in a sec. But you can come in here and link additional logs. So now I've got a log there that's going to be for conveyor training, and I can say this conveyor training is related to this specific injury. So again, great tool for sort of auditing what happened with an event and keeping track of all associated activities for that. So yeah, this follow-up training, we've marked it as required, and then we can come in and mark it as complete when it's done. We can do the work practice review, engineering reviews, those sorts of things. And then down here, if it does result in an OSHA claim or something like that, you can track the details of that in here as well. So really anything you need in order to sort of track that event that's occurred. In addition, you can come in and attach, documents like drag and drop or whatever you like. You can attach additional documents and things like that to this to help, document what actually happened. So, we can come in and we can look at exactly, where that occurred, right? So we know, okay, that's where it happened, and have all sorts of notes, and we can, take pictures of, the actual injury. Luckily, that one's not too bad, maybe a little ugly, but we can do all those sorts of things in here as well. So that's an example of, a very simple log that's for a lost time injury. If we look at how we can report on this, the safety logbook summary, if I just leave it blank and just, report on this particular log, it's a pretty, comprehensive sheet describing exactly what happened. So all the details that we would have entered show up on here, the government claim number, all those sorts of things, all the details of the employees in there, that sort of thing, any related log entries. So all that is there. And one of the nice things about that report is I can come in and I can say, you know what, this Linda person seems to get injured a lot, right? Or does she? Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. But I can go in here and I can look at all the safety logs where she's been involved. Okay? So if I do that and I filter on that, now I can see I've got 5 different reports here. So here, Linda Martin, let's zoom in. She was injured on this one. On this one, she was just a trainee. So this is the conveyor training. So we trained her not to get injured. That's great. And then here she got, forklift certified. And, here she had another, injury potentially. Oh, no, she wasn't injured. She was just a witness to that injury. So that's fine. So you can go through and you can get the summary for sort of employee evaluation and things like that. If you need to. Okay. So enough about that. Now, again, there's lots of other things you can do. So let's look at the forklift certification, because that's not necessarily an event that occurred. I mean, it is. You had some certification training or something like that. And now I can flag this particular log as a certification. And I can come in here and list all the people that were certified during this training and indicate how long that certification lasts for. I leave all the other fields blank because I don't care about any of this other stuff necessarily. I've just flagged this as a certification, these are the people that are certified, and this is how long that certification lasts for. And you saw on the previous screen where you can go in and then filter on, and you can say, hey, what are all the certifications that are expiring in the next 2 months or month or whatever it happens to be, and then you can find all the employees that may need to be recertified. Right? So very simple way of tracking certifications. And of course, you can use the employee stuff, in Base Business Central to track those certifications. This one is, arguably a lot simpler to manage and do because we've got one sort of event for certification and we list all the employees associated with it. Okay. All right, so that's the basics of sort of the safety log, right? I can come in here, create a new safety log, log exactly what happened, all of those sorts of things, and I've got this full record of all the events, and I can report on it and do whatever I need. So pretty straightforward. Now, there are other things you can do. As I mentioned, we can tie, these things with the quality inspector. So in the quality inspector, I can go in and I can set up checklists or, inspections or whatever I need based on the specific, log type. So if I go in there, I can say, hey, every time I do an internal audit, I want a specific checklist. Every time I have an injury, I have a specific checklist to fill out. Now, again, in the safety logbook, I can do that. I can come in and I can list all the things that I checked and everything else. I can have attached documents to indicate, the checklist I use, or attach a checklist that I filled in by hand, all those sorts of things. But if you want an electronic record of that inspection or checklist, you can use that quality inspector. So if I look at this one here, I do actually have a quality inspection link to it. I'm just going to open it up here in the other window, and it's going to open up and show me that quality inspection. And again, I can go out on the shop floor with a tablet or whatever and do that inspection here. And the advantage of the quality inspector is that it lets me do that formal electronic inspection, take photos, all of those sorts of things, and it's tracked directly against that inspection in Business Central and tracked right back to that original safety log, right? So it took a second to load there for some reason, but now I can come in here and I can enter all the different values for these individual tests and everything else, and log that, take photos, do all the things that I can do in the safety logbook, and have a much more formal record of what was actually done in that particular safety log, which in this case is an audit, right? So if we go back to here, I can open this quality inspection tests from the previous environment I was in. So when it opened up that new window there, it'll open it up in a different role center. But I can come in here and I can see, I've got a different number series for my quality inspections for safety logbooks, and I can see all the different safety logs that we have quality inspections for, right? So you can come in here and create those quality inspections, see what they're associated with, filter it down just to the ones that are associated with safety logbooks, and away I go. Okay, pretty straightforward. All right. So I think that that's really all that I wanted to go over on the safety logbook today. If there are any questions on this, feel free to get on our website, contact us. Happy to answer those questions for you. If you want to install it, just go to AppSource. It's free. There's no registration, anything like that required, and you're good to go. Pretty straightforward. Just run the setup wizard. Once it's done, it'll install the standard data, and you're good to go. With that, I'd like to thank everybody for attending. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more great content, and remember to hit that bell icon to stay updated. See you in the next video.